5-day menstrual cycle that most women do, it's reduced to 2 days. So if you want to get over it really quickly, the other great benefit of it is if you do this, there's no period cramps.
Yeah, before when I went raw just 4 or 5 months ago.
Yes.
Before that, I had the worst menstruation my whole life. I was like, get me the ambulance every month.
Yes.
Like
Extreme.
Screaming and crying, extreme.
Yes.
Even after I had kids, it was still went back to the same. As soon as I went raw, it all went away. I don't even feel I have my period
anymore. Isn't
I don't
that
even
marvelous?
blow.
Now, what can happen is that
Amazing.
yes,
It just disappeared.
yes,
Totally.
and you're on a very healthy raw vegan diet. Now, what can happen? People, even raw vegans like myself, I went on a very healthy raw vegan diet, and then it started coming back again. And it started getting these extreme cramps. And if people don't get these extreme cramps, I'm so glad you've never had it. But for those of us who do, you feel like you could die. You feel like, I think people probably have, because you can go unconscious. Like I used to vomit every month before I was raw vegan. And then it started coming back. And so basically what that means is that our system is toxic. It's actually not a mystery, and it's not, nothing is a mystery. It all starts somewhere, and most of it starts in the gut. The reason why I know this is because I worked with Richard Anderson's book, Purify and Cleanse Thyself, starting more than 10 years ago, and I worked at Koh Samui at the spa, which is the world's largest raw restaurant, to my knowledge. And it's on this island in Thailand, and it's right on the beach, and I was their international translator. So I got to stay there for free to just translate this program into different languages. And so what happened is I did this cleanse for 2 weeks, full cleanse, this Richard Anderson program with the bentonite clay, and then I did another 2 weeks, and the mucoid plaque came out. And then Bernard Jensen showed us that there's a book, and this book and chart show that the various allergies we have are affiliated with an exact part of our colon. So we, our transverse colon, the rising and the lowering colon, transverse colon, they have, like one will say pumpkin seeds, cashews, tomatoes, citrus fruit. There are different parts in the system that when we have diverticulosis, or the folding of our system and different passageways that shouldn't be there in our system, then they ferment and they rot and they create a certain place in our system that will create a certain allergy. And there's also spots in our system in the small intestine. There's a spot in the small intestine that creates menstrual cramps. So what you do want to do is, if you have menstrual cramps, is make sure that these are that the ankles are rubbed, and also around the belly, and also deep breathing. Something else I noticed, it's really helpful if you get poisoned by wild edible foraging, which you won't, because now you know how to do it. It's pretty simple. And that intuition, a lot of that intuition is, yes, there is real, authentic intuition, as I was talking about, but a lot of it is like common sense, is also using the outside sources. We want to use the knowledge that comes from everywhere when we forage. So something that you can do is breathe. Now, I myself tend to be a howly sometimes, you know, that shallow breathing person. So here we are in Hawaii, the air couldn't be cleaner. So I just encourage you all to breathe really deeply. And can you imagine, I noticed that Avocado, or David Wolf last night, was talking a lot about parasites, and how we actually all do have a terrain of parasites, and it's really up to us to keep our terrain clean. Now, we all know that parasites and anaerobic substances, such as cancer, that one thing that they require is a lack of oxygen. Parasites really love an anaerobic environment, and so they love it when you eat junk food, they love it when you have sugar, that creates stickiness. Even honey is like, they love that, because try to breathe through honey, right? And try to breathe through orange juice, right? As healthy as orange juice is, it's full of sugar and it's really sticky. So what can we do to counteract that if we're having too many mangoes in our diet when we're here for the next week? We can breathe really deeply, because that air that we bring in, we expand that, and we really extend the belly, and the parasites are like, I don't like this. So you're going to actually notice, I don't know if you've noticed this, but when we get hungry, a lot of the time it's not really us that's hungry, it's our parasites. And so when we're not drinking water, because parasites love to drink water too, right? They get thirsty just like we do. They love to drink water, they want a variety of diets, they want it all catered. It's like, right?
When you fast, like when you do the 30-day
fast
in Ramadan, the first 3 days you're shaking.
Yes.
Once you get rid of the parasites, the 4th day you're so high, you feel so strong.
Yes, so a lot of the little weak parasites, they'll die off early on, or they're just like,
They're dying.
they're dying. So basically, aerobic, feeding them all day long. And I myself have to practice that more, especially when we're too busy. And especially getting exercise every day, that's really making us breathe deeply. That is going to really keep that terrain. And also it keeps actually our appetite down, believe it or not. Have you noticed that when you exercise, you eat less? Why? Because the parasites are dying.
They're not munching.
They're not munching. They have way too much oxygen, and they're getting sick when we're getting healthy. So it's this interesting relationship. And so breathing can actually overcome period cramps. Breathing can overcome broken bone cramps. Breathing can heal cuts. So in the tropical areas and with tribal people where we don't have medicine, something that we do a lot is we sing. And we don't just sing to the sick person, but we say after a while, sing with us. And what does singing do? It doesn't only make us cheerful, it also uses our abdomen, right? So I encourage you to sing every day as a preventative measure for health and for just optimal well-being.
Can you sing what you used to sing, the tribes?
Could I sing?
Yeah.
Our song right now?
Yeah.
Or well, how about if I wait until we're done? But basically, she has a great point because you must be from a foreign country. Are you from? You're from
Egypt.
Okay. The reason why she said that is she said, "Can you sing?" Americans, I love Americans. Americans would rarely say in the middle of a talk, "Could you sing?" Because she's from this country, and I love this. In India, when we're up in the Himalayas, the tribal people who I lived with, the Garhwali people, when they meet with us, they don't say, "Hi, where are you from?" They don't say, "Hi, what do you do for a living?" Or these kind of questions that our parents taught us to say. They say, no question. They say, "Sing a song." It's actually a command. And so at first I was like, because I wasn't really a singer, and so I have a repertoire now of like my top 10 hits, and I'm ready. So I could sing a song right now if you like.
Yes.
So in the Himalayas, I love to sing the song, but this is nothing exciting. You've all heard it probably. But imagine you're up in the Himalayas. There's lots of people who are just, all they know is hiking. They don't know anything else. They've never been on a road. They don't know about modern civilization. So they judge you, right, or in a positive way, using discrimination, and I said, "Why do you ask that?" And they said to me, "Well, there's reasons why we don't understand why you ask where you're from because we don't study geography. So for us, where you're from and what you do, we don't understand your life. So for us, it's really about singing. That's all we know is singing and farming and hiking and that kind of thing. So you just want to take up that lifestyle. So basically, they said, well, we can learn a lot about a person if they sing a song. We can tell by the timbre of their voice, their pitch. We can tell by the tone. We can tell by the intensity, the volume. We can tell by also the words. We can tell by the sounds that they choose, and then the translation. And so everything we need to know about a person is how they sing a song. I am a happy wanderer along the mountain track. And as I go, I love to sing my knapsack on my back.
Valerie,
Valerie, Valerie, Valerie, Valerie, my knapsack on my back. I wave my hat to all I see, and they wave back to me. And blackbirds call so loud and sweet from every greenwood tree. Valerie,
Valerie, Valerie, Valerie, knapsack on my back.
when we go overseas.